Happy Friday, 7th grader, through another week. I think we only have about 2 weeks to go after this. So time is really flying by, and I think it really helps that we have one day a week to kind of get caught up and regroup and figure everything out. So today we're gonna start solving some equations. We're gonna do 1 and 2 step equations today. All of which we've done before. We have covered this in class and really should just be a reminder to you. So I want to remind you how to show your work. If any point in the video you're like, oh, I get that, Miss Alfred, you're welcome to fast forward a little bit and get to the next ones because I want to show you every possible scenario. Also, remember that the videos are there for you so that as you're working on your homework, you can go back and check to see if you did it correctly. So remember, I am going to require you to show your work, and I will post another video showing you how that's going to look. So let's go ahead and get started here. Couple of things to remember. Remember that the goal of solving an equation is to isolate the variable. Okay, our goal is to always get that variable by itself so there's nothing else attached to it. So remember, sometimes the variable has a best friend and we want to keep them together as long as possible, but then ultimately the best friend has to go away and we want to get rid of it. So we're going to do that by using what we call inverse operations. Okay, we have adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And the opposite of adding is subtracting. The opposite of subtracting is adding. Multiplication and division are opposites. Okay, and we're going to solve these equations by just undoing all of those things. So let's start with a few one-step equations. The first thing I want to see on every equation that you solve is for you to draw a line down the middle by the equal sign. Okay, now I want to get the n all by itself, and I notice that it says plus 10. So to get rid of the plus 10, I have to minus 10 from both sides. And these would then cross out. I have the n by itself. 18 minus 10 is 8. Now, I'm not going to require you to do a check. Instead, I'm going to put an answer check on Canvas also so that you can check to see if your answers are right. And then if they're not right, you can always go back and fix it. Okay, so the next one, p minus 8 equals 9. Okay, we want to get the p by itself. So I want to get rid of the minus 8, so we need to add 8 to each side. Remember, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other to keep it balanced. These then cross out. Minus 8 plus 8 is gone, and we have p equals 9 plus 8 is 17. And again, I will put an answer check on Canvas for your homework so you can check if you've done your answers correctly. Okay, the next one. Okay, draw a line by the equal sign. That should be automatic. That's the first thing you do. Okay, circle the b because we want to get that by itself. Now remember what this line means. This line here means division. So it's b divided by -4. The opposite of dividing is to multiply. Because we divided by -4, we need to multiply by -4 on both sides. Okay, these cross out, so we have b equals -20. Okay, again, no need to do the check. You can always use the answer check on Canvas. Okay, last one of the one-step equations. Draw your line down the middle. Remember what it means to have the 6 and the x right next to each other? That means you're multiplying. So I'm going to circle the x. We need to get rid of the 6 by dividing both sides by 6. That line just means to divide. So the 6's cancel and we have x by itself. That's our goal, to isolate the x. 48 divided by 6 is 8, and it works. Okay, I will again post the answer check so you can check your answers. So those were all just one-step equations. It took one step to solve them. Okay, now we're going to look at some two-step equations. Okay, now when we're solving a two-step equation, that means it's going to take 2 steps. So you have to do 2 things to solve it. Solve each equation by undoing the operations. Make sure you're showing all your work. You can check your answers by using the answer check on Canvas. Okay, so I encourage you to check your answers so you know if you're doing it right or not. Okay, so let's try a couple of these examples so hopefully you'll understand what you're doing. Okay, now we draw a line by the equal sign. That should be the first thing you always do. Okay, then the variable has a best friend right now, and the variable's best friend is the positive 5. Okay, now I need to get rid of a negative 7. To get rid of a negative 7, you have to put a positive 7 on both sides. So these will cancel, and we have 5n equals 63 plus 7 is 70. Now we need to get the n by itself. So we're going to divide by 5. And 70 divided by 5, you're welcome to use a calculator on any of this as long as you're showing your work. 70 divided by 5 is 14. So we have 14 right here equals, these cancel, so it equals n. Okay. Now, if you end up with an answer that just doesn't seem nice, a decimal, a fraction, something like that, know that you made a mistake. All of these problems are going to end up being very nice answers. Okay, there will not be any fractions or decimals. So let's try another one. Okay, this one looks a little bit different. This time, the variable's best friend is this adding negative 3. And so we have to get rid of the dividing by 2. Remember, what's the opposite of dividing? That's multiplying each side by 2. Be careful with negatives. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12 equals whatever you have circled. So negative 3 plus n. Okay. Then we're going to add 3 to both sides because we want to get the variable by itself. This is a negative 3. We need a positive 3 on both sides. And again, be careful with negatives. Negative 12 plus 3 is negative 9 equals n. Okay, now you can check your answer again using the answer check on Canvas. But remember, you should get nice whole numbers, no fractions or decimals. Okay, let's try another one. Here's where things get a little bit tricky. Okay, the variable's best friend this time is not just the 6, it is the negative 6. Okay, so that minus sign is attached to the 6 and they stay together. Okay, so that's a negative 6. So I need to get rid of this negative 9. The way to get rid of a negative 9 is a positive 9. Okay, and these cancel. So we have negative 6x equals negative 123 plus 9. Remember, same signs add and keep. Different signs subtract. So 123 minus 9 is 114, but we have more negatives. So this is negative 114. And then we have to divide by negative 6 to get the x by itself. So we have x equals, a negative divided by negative is positive, and 114 divided by 6 is 19. So our answer is positive 19. Again, keeping in mind, you're going to get really nice answers. Okay? Last one. This time, the variable and its best friend is this x divided by 2. So we have a plus 2, a positive 2. To get rid of that, we have to minus 2 from both sides. And so we have x divided by 2 equals 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Our last step, remember, because it needs 2 steps, is to multiply both sides by 2. So we get x equals negative 4. Okay, and there's your final answer. Now, for your homework, you are going to be required to show all of your work, just like I've been doing here. I need to see all of that work to show that you understand the process, because these equations are going to get bigger and longer starting next week. We're going to do some multi-step equations and variables on both sides. So we have to understand how to show your work. I am going to respond to you with feedback and even ask you to fix some mistakes if you made them. So make sure that you are doing that. That can only help improve your score. Okay. Again, I'm going to post another video after this one for some tips on how you're going to show your work today. So do your very best. Make sure you're showing your work. Email me, jump on a Zoom, ask me questions if you have it or have questions. I am more than happy to help you. But most of all, you guys, after you get your homework done, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the nice weather, and hopefully it's nice out this weekend, and just spend some time relaxing. But get caught up on your work if you are behind. Okay, have a wonderful day. See you guys on Monday.